afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Sanjeev, your entrepreneur team. There is a so first, let me welcome Payal and also set the context. I think you may have noticed from the agenda, we have two panelists less today. So I think we make some adjustments. So, I will also I'll also share my thoughts a little bit more than what I normally would as a moderator. And of course, Payal is a key panelist. But that also means good news for the audience. A, you'll have to listen to fewer panelists. Secondly, we'll invite more of your interactions as we go. So one of the things, and so let me get the ball rolling. What we were talking about on the panel, off the panel, as we were listening to Amol come up with his radical ideas. I'd love to see, I'd love to at some point in time explore those. But we were discussing, Payal and I, on how to structure this. So we'll have three. So the context is that, the general sense is the policy robustness sort of intent on the school side, the NEP, as well as the NCRT curriculum is fairly robust. And, but as anybody who runs a company will tell you, the employability challenge stays, right? I mean, there is a large gap in between what employers want and what's actually available in the market. So the question is, how do we address those? Now, this is a problem that all those of you who've been going to the conferences, and we were discussing this before, I've certainly seen it for the last 25 years. This problem has stayed the same, right? It's not got solved. So the challenge is, what do we do? I think there are a lot of good ideas, but the problem is well known. So today we will not talk about the problems. I think the challenge is well known. Also, there was one point in the previous panel which was quite that what is the meaning of education, right? I mean, is it just jobs? Is it intellectual? Is it something else? Right. So we, for the purpose of this discussion, if Payal's okay, we'll keep it as, what can we do in the higher education to help people get better jobs, be more employable, right? And across three dimensions. So we'll divide the discussion in three sections. First is the policy vision, right? Second is the institutions, the implementation across the institutions. And lastly, the industry perspective. I mean, what can, what are the gaps at the industry level? What can be done, and so on and so forth. The format that we'll follow is, in each of these sections, I will share quickly some thoughts. Payal will share her thoughts. And then we'll invite one or two questions from the audience, one or two comments actually from the audience to make the discussion richer. Okay, so here we go. We'll stick up the policy and vision part of it, focusing on higher education, employability part. So Payal, your take first on what is the one change you would like from the policy side to improve things.
First of all, thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone who's here. I know it's been it's midday now and everybody's looking forward to lunch. Plus, you're missing two very esteemed panelists. So this becomes more of an exclusive conversation with Vivek. Vivek, thank you for setting the context and for such a beautiful introduction. And I'm not sure of the MC's name, but thank you again. You've been doing a great job. This is quite a tough topic if we look at it. But at the same time, as Vivek has rightly put and articulated, we've been talking and talking and talking. The time and the need of the hour, really is, what do we do? Where does implementation happen? What's the application? And where does real change come about? So to answer the next question and to set the context a little bit more, India today does not lack intent. I think we have a very strong foundation at that. With NEP 2020, we have one of the most robust and progressive education visions globally. You talk about flexibility, you talk about skills, you talk about interdisciplinarity, holistic development. Everything is so beautifully articulated. So the burning question, and this is for all of us. This is for all the stakeholders. The burning question is not what we want to achieve, because I think we are extremely well aware of that. But how do we clearly get the policy intent to translate into curricular priorities and real or classroom realities? That's where we need to see the change. Sorry, I have a bad throat and a bit of cold here. And also the fact that how does policy move from being a great aspiration, which is very admirable, to a lived academic practice, and also the fact that it does not end up just merely being a document with good intentions. So the wish that I would really have, and it is not a wish from somebody else, it is a wish from the ecosystem of which I am a part equally, as a faculty member, as an administrator, is that we are looking and talking about the future, but we are completely stuck in the past structures. So it calls for a great, not just about the reform, but a lot of transformation at individual level that will start showing at the institutional levels. So it begins from the institutional leadership, definitely, but then how do we translate that into classrooms and into cultures? I think would be the starting point and my strong desire and wish, Vivek.
So you said you said clearly there is a saying, and I'll put it less diplomatically than Payal did. There's a saying that we human beings have a very sort of prehistoric wiring, right? Our DNA is based on survival and stuff like that. Our governance systems are medieval, right? I mean, our regulations and all that are pretty medieval, and technology is so it's not keeping up with the technology is pretty cutting edge, and all of that is not coming together. So is that what you're saying? The regulations are not keeping up?
Uh, so policy, it's not about heavy policies or policy interventions. It's mostly about leadership choices. As I said, the documents and whatever the regulations are there, they're pretty strong and they are pretty reliable. The question is, are we actually getting them to be applicable in the real world scenario? Are we responsive to the needs of the industry, demands? And do we have that readiness? Because we have been the entire discussion today is centered around employability. So yes.
Okay, so my own take on policy, I think very well.
I'm not living up to your expectations. To be pretty rude and adventurous.
Your views, and we're my own this thing is that there needs to be, so like I said, I think the documentation and the approach is fairly robust. What I'd like to see a little more focus on the the learning process, in the sense that you think all the NEP is a wonderful document, for example, school, and a lot of software, hardware, teacher tray, all of that stuff is happening. However, if you look at the budgets that get allocated, you'd allocate, out of 100 rupees, 99 rupees gets allocated to hardware and software, and there's not even a 1 rupee for follow-up, sort of the delivery of learning, the learning teaching process, right? How do you monitor it? How do you improve it? I think I would like to see that change, that addition to the policy documents in a more robust sort of way.
Yeah, I agree to that, Vivek. Yes. Yes, please go on.
Okay. So now, in keeping up with the format, anybody would like to comment on the policy aspect of? Yes, there's a gentleman here. Can somebody get him the mic, please? Can you please introduce yourself and then just
Hi everyone. I'm speaking for the second time, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Sudeep, and I'm from Delhi. So to introduce, I'm a lifelong learner. So I work with a tech company, and I also I am curious about learning, teaching, uh, change management, emotional intelligence in the age of artificial intelligence. Right. So very curious to learn, and that's why I'm here. So one comment I wanted to make is there should be a very sincere effort or a mindset shift from in terms of teacher, um, from what to teach to how to teach, and when it comes to students, um, how to learn rather than what to learn. Right? I think this mindset shift will kind of surpass any kind of policy um, made by the government. I think.
so. Do you have any suggestions or ideas on how that might be achieved? I mean, see, I'm sorry to, but problems are well known, right? I mean, in the sense that we know mindset needs to. Is there any ideas on how that might be achieved? Any suggestions what the audience might use to implement some of this stuff?
Uh, yeah. So again, it's all about implementation and not just the policy framing, right? So one thing that everyone has to realize is education is not knowledge. Knowledge is not wisdom. Sorry, I'm just throwing so many statements. But with given the time, I just wanted to, convey my thoughts. So, but I am happy to discuss further. If anyone wants to speak, we can have a long chat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to comment? Okay, there's a gentleman here.
I'm talking to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Manoj Paveria. Actually, I was working for corporate last 28 years. I shifted to education since 2022. So I am teaching in DTU as well as NSUT and Skill Vishkarma University of Palwal also. So as before somebody discussed that there is a skill gap. So I also found it. So we are not upgrading interest in the students. Teachers' work is to give some interest. So I was seeing there are some Lido companies. So their toys are up to 10 plus student, 10 years plus. And they are teaching automation, robotics of student of 10 plus. But here, even though engineering graduates are not getting such type of education. So once at the age of 10, 11, 12, that is interest creating age. So that time if we build instinct, so that person will develop. Because of this, Europeans are developing such AI. AI was introduced in 1950s. Right now we are talking to the AIs. So that is the difference of the education. We are just copying.
Bring more sort of hands-on tools and exposure. Okay, thank you.
I think the pedagogical practices is where we need to look at when we are talking about this question, Vivek. And it's
Please.
so some very interesting data I was looking at, while studying about the topic that we were going to discuss today in detail. And it surprised me as well that over 50% of Indian graduates, 50% of Indian graduates are considered not immediately employable today. That's scary. That's alarming. And that calls for the action that we are talking about. And this is primarily due to gaps in communication, decision-making, leadership. And as per LinkedIn Global Talent Trends, these are the skills that the employers are looking for today and are struggling to find. And again, the question which the gentleman shared, it's not about the what anymore, it's about the how. And, faculty, as a faculty member myself, faculty are not averse to growth and to change. It's the support that we are looking for, as a part of, again, leadership myself. what is the support that we can accrue from leadership? Because, see, employability is not produced by curricula. Employability is produced by leadership practices and by institutional culture and learning experiences. And these are the three that we really need to look at, Vivek. So, yeah.
So we use that opportunity to go into our next section. Sort of what are universities and universities are doing, colleges are doing. So you were mentioning you're doing some innovative stuff at your university
Right.
to help bridge this gap. Can you share that?
So, yeah, without sounding pompous or arrogant, so I was talking to Vivek also before the panel while we were introducing ourselves. I moved from Bangalore to a tier 2 town. And that's a question that's been looming on my head since, from friends, family, and network, that what would make you do that? And this was largely about innovation. So I speak on behalf of the institution, but not in complete awe and admiration, but not as somebody who's parrot talking. This is a program that I am heading myself at the institution, and is the only one in India in any institute of higher academic organization. The program is about coaching-led pedagogy. So when we talk about coaching, I know in India, the moment we say coaching, life coaching, academic coaching, NEET coaching, IIT JEE coaching comes to our mind. This is a very different sort of intervention, which is a personalized intervention where students work with certified, credentialed, global coaches. People who have undergone a very comprehensive, rigorous training of a couple of years to be able to support individuals. So we have got executive coaching. Why it is not known much in academia is because executive coaching is for the CXO level. So we've got executive coaching into the classrooms, from boardrooms to classrooms. This is an exploratory project. It has moved much beyond the pilot stage from 2001 to present times, where as we speak, 1,468 students at the campus have been coached individually in one-on-one, customized, personalized sessions by globally credentialed International Coaching Federation coaches. We have invested around 90 million. But it is all a pro bono intervention where 363 coaches, again, as we speak of today, have worked with these students over the course of 4 years. And this is where we are talking about the skills that are currently needed and are being scouted for by the employers. Because please understand, soft skills, they are poorly named. Soft skills, I think they're the most durable skills, and particularly in the age of technological change. They are the ones which are going to survive. And we are talking about decision. I think they have been already spoken about in detail in the previous panels and discussions as well. It is about empathy. It is about emotional intelligence. It's about active listening. It's about collaboration. It's about self-awareness. These are very heavy terms to understand, but when you get these coaches to work with these students one-on-one over a course of semester or over an year, that's the beginning, that's the starting point. And we have had students come to us saying that most importantly, they found a sounding board, a safe space to speak. We're talking about self-awareness and emotional intelligence as very heavy terms, but what does it look like in a lived experience? If I'm self-aware, what does it look like for me? What does it look like for my peer if I'm a self-aware person? What does my peer say about me? Or my colleague, or my boss, or my junior, or my teammate? Goes for the students. So these are the kind of learning experience that have been brought into the university since 2001. The program is called Leadership Coaching at the Center for Leadership Coaching that I head, has been inaugurated by two very prominent personalities, global and national. One is General Ved Prakash Malik. I take his due permission to take his name on the stage here. The Kargil War veteran. He was the Chief of Army Staff, and he led the Kargil War. And the CEO of International Coaching Federation, the only body that credentials people to become coaches, not run-of-the-mill coaches like, as everybody's calling themselves today. So that's the kind of innovative coaching-led pedagogical practices to support, enable not only the faculty, because it's very important that the faculty themselves understand what is reflective learning, what is a peer conversation, what are difficult feedback conversations. Because once you experience what is reflection yourself, that's only when you can bring it to the students or introduce it to the students. And this is the kind of work that is happening at Shoolini.
And this is a wonderful example. Clearly, students getting mentored by industry experience. I think it's a fantastic opportunity for the students and certainly hold them in good stead.
They are industry experts and coaches, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that is, as an extension to that, do you also sort of, do you find, let's say, the curriculum that's been specified by the authorities, do you find enough space for industry projects, other industry exposure, or do you find that a challenge?
I know that's a very pertinent question because as a faculty member, I feel like, oh my God, what more do I need to do? Something more is going to come my way, and expectation is to introduce that into the classrooms, and for the leadership as well. What more? See, it's not about more content. It's about more integration. It's about embedding leadership and coaching into the curriculum rather than layering it further. Because we all understand that as educationists, whatever is currently happening is already very overwhelming. So what do I do as a educationist myself to be able to bring these soft skills into the classrooms as maybe everyday academic choices? So I think Ms. Devika spoke about it earlier. So let's say I'm assessing a project for academic rigor. I should now be also assessing that for teamwork, for collaboration, for decision making, for how I was, coherence, and so on and so forth. And that's where we will be able to also to answer Vivek's question from earlier. My one more wish from the policy would be not holding institutions accountable only when it comes to compliance, but also about assessed learning outcomes when it comes to soft skills.
Thank you. Would anybody in the audience like to share their thoughts on? It'd be great if somebody can share specific examples or specific instances of successes, frustrations. It'd be great. But any ideas? Yeah, there's a lady here.
So frustrations, I'm sure we're all holding a lot, many.
Thank you. I Dr. Shweta Verma from Guinea's Planet, and I also had Guinea Ki Dunia Foundation. I moved from academic side to actually running the organization and starting my own thing 6 years ago. And what I've seen as an academician then and now as, the one who's taking in interns and volunteers from these universities is, like you rightly said, that what we call soft skills are the important skills for future. And because my organization focuses on empathy, diversity, inclusion. So what I've seen is that, with the university where we have an MOU, or with the university where I go on for regular sessions. So what they see when they come to our organization for internship and what they hear from me when I go to their institution, that aligns very well. And the best thing that happens to us is a very good relationship with the faculty. So when the student gets frustrated with us because we are not giving a lot of room sometimes, we don't break our rules. So then they go to the faculty, and faculty, aligns with us in a manner that it actually leads to growth of students. And although, of course, there are ups and downs with all the students when we are building their skills, but agreed that, good alignment and partnerships and collaborations between the institution and what's happening outside the institution is the key. It actually helps us also see who are employable among these people that we're grooming, for future. So that's what I wanted to share from our side.
Thank you very much. That's a great example of collaboration within the university and outside. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to? I think there's a gentleman there.
We'd have the final remark from the audience, and then I'll ask you to please close the session. Who wants to share? If you can, please.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Dr. Ashish Chaurasia. I am a professor by profession and a student by my heart. I want to share my experience and wonderful things which are going in my university as well as in my school, because my institution or my group is having university as well as the schools. In my school, class nursery students are started training about the robotics. They are creating the robotics from class nursery. They are doing the circuit designing, all the things they are doing from class nursery, and by moving to class 5th, they are making a well-controlled robot which is having a wireless motion sensors. And as far as the university is concerned, our university students have prepared a robot which is a remotely controlled missile launching vehicle for the DRDO, and we are submitting that for the copyrights. And as far as the skills are concerned, we are inculcating the best practices about the pedagogical things, as well as the new subjects and new areas of domains by which the students can more enhance their skills, because this is the most important part as far as the either the school or the university is concerned. Right now, madam has told about the NEP. NEP says that it should be have more new things, more skill development should be there, as well as the NBA says that we should have a outcome based learning. So we are blended both the outcome based as well as the skill part in a single platform by which we are helping the students, and we are getting the support from the industries also regarding that. They are helping our students to get themselves learn more better, and they are building on new things and moving into the innovation part. Thank you.
So thank you very much. I especially like the fact that students are building something that will be used by the DRDO. So there's an application, because clearly, and this last comments, since we've been asked that we have to close the session, basically what we're saying is that students know their stuff. There's a lot of work going on. What is missing is, you might say, contextual literacy. I mean, how do you apply this stuff to real world problems, right? And soft skills is a huge piece of it, especially as the value of technical knowledge goes down, because it's outsourced to the computers, right? So with that, thank you very much. Thank you for being a wonderful audience, and thank you, Payal, for being part of the panel. Over to you.
Thank you.
So
Ms.
much.
Payal, final remarks?
Okay, so just to take it forward from where Vivek closed. See, World Economic Forum also notes that human skills are going to be the differentiator, because all the technical skills mostly, if not largely, are going to become obsolete in very recent time, in very near times. So it is about capacity building more than content. Capacity building to be able to learn, continuously learn, to collaborate, to come together. So I think that's where the action is needed, and that's where we all need to come together. Thank you so much for this interesting and beautiful conversation. Thank you for the remarks from the audience.